So why does CrossFit suck? That's the Lifting Ninja here to answer that question. And I'd like to welcome you to the first edition of the Lifting Ninja podcast. Now, why am I doing this podcast? Well, it's very similar to what I do on theliftingninja.com, which you should go check out. The link will be in the description, where I pretty much blog about everything fitness. Whether it's nutrition, whether it's exercise, whatever. That's pretty much what I do. So, the reason I'm doing this is it's like blogging, but with my voice, which is actually pretty cool. So, just another way for me to, engage with my audience. So, anyways, that's what we're doing here. First time, so it might be a little rough, but we'll see how it goes. So, let's get into the topic. Why does CrossFit suck? Let's see. Where do I start? Well, first of all, I did do a blog post on this the other day, but I don't feel like I got my point across the way I wanted to. I'm very sarcastic, and I love satire, so, I try to write in that way, but I feel like it may be easier for me to say it than write it, because some people may not quite understand what I'm trying to do. So, what about CrossFit? Well, let's start with the fact that when I first heard about CrossFit, I was like, oh man, this is really interesting. I've always been interested in cross-training. I've always been interested in, finding a way to combine multiple ways and methods of training into one thing. So I was like, okay, CrossFit seems pretty cool. And then I happened to see a video on YouTube of a guy who was supposedly this big-time CrossFit person, and I saw him trying to break a pull-up record. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Maybe they're really good athletes. And then I saw this weird, seizure-like pull-up that he was doing, and I was like, what in the world are you doing on the bar right now? Because I've seen people do pull-ups where they start in a chair, or it's kind of like a halfway thing where they're building into their pull-ups or whatever. But I've never seen this kind of, exorcism happening on a pull-up bar. And I just, in my mind, I'm like, wow, this is really terrible. And then I go on to see them trying to do tricep dips, just bodyweight tricep dips, and I see them teaching this girl to just, convulse while she's doing tricep dips, and I'm like, what good is that going to do? But what that comes back to is, first of all, CrossFit is teaching terrible form. And I feel like it's just for the sake of making it easier. I watched some interviews with CrossFit trainers and people who are supposedly certified in doing this, and the one answer I always come across is, oh yes, we're trying to teach them to move more efficiently so that they can get through more repetitions. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, wait a minute. If you're not doing it with proper form, then you're not getting any repetitions in the first place. So that's my problem with them trying to teach bad form like that. Is the point is not to make the exercise easier. The point is to do the exercise correctly and get better at it. You're not getting better if you suck at the exercise. And it goes the same with weight training too. I see them doing power cleans with too much weight, and rather than dropping the weight and learning proper form with it, these trainers and athletes and just regular trainees, your average Joe that walks into a CrossFit gym, you've got them over there doing spine snapping movements to try to get this weight up. Are you kidding me? Really? But all that being said, when I look at their power cleans, this is the one that I probably have the most problem with. And you can go on YouTube and look up the fails in CrossFit, which, I mean, is actually kind of funny, but some of them are actually pretty bad. People get snapped up really quick. And, I mean, it all comes from the fact that they are doing an exercise with improper form, and they're not doing it with proper weight. So, I mean, when you see somebody like a 115-pound female trying to pull up this huge amount of weight on her power clean, and she's basically just like leaning from side to side, and if the clips weren't on the bar, the weight would fall off and everything, and then somehow, some way, she contorts her spine into a 360 pretzel, and she gets it up, and then you hear, "Oh my gosh, yeah, you're so amazing, yeah, good job, good job." And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, wow, you're getting congratulated on slipping 5 discs in your back. That's awesome. It's really not awesome. I mean, you can go anywhere on the web and find yourself a decent training program, or go find a trainer who specializes in these things, whether it be powerlifting, whether it be bodybuilding, whether it be just, regular strength training, whether it be, building your endurance, whatever it may be. And you can go and do it on your own in a gym that you can find on your own, and get a membership and go and work out for yourself and not have to deal with this CrossFit crap. But instead, there's so many people, and it's just a growing trend, which I'm not surprised, because everybody who seems to do CrossFit loves to talk about CrossFit and how they do CrossFit and how they are getting better at CrossFit and how CrossFit is better than everything, and because CrossFit and CrossFit and CrossFit. You get the point. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here, but you can go and you can find a decent training program, go and do it for yourself or with a trainer, a real trainer, and get really good results. Probably get better results than CrossFit. Actually, no, definitely get better results than CrossFit. But a lot of people, they just choose to go with CrossFit and would rather, slip the disc in their back or break their arm or snap their shoulder up or anything else that may occur. I don't know, crushing your larynx. I don't know. There's a lot of injuries that can be associated with CrossFit. And they would rather go off and do that than to try to do something on their own and actually get results. You see the logic in this? I don't. Well, anyways, the next thing about CrossFit, I don't understand how they legitimize anything. I mean, personally, in my area, I'm seeing CrossFit gyms go up like every other day, it seems like. And they're just all around. And it's people, they go and they buy a garage space. I mean, I've seen some that have actually rented out a space that used to be an auto repair shop. And they throw in some Olympic rings, some pull-up bars, some row machines, and a bunch of barbells. And, well, I mean, some of them have the little jungle gym things, but whatever. And then they get membership, and I'm like, wow, these places are doing serious business. And I sit there and I look like, man, this may not be the most credible thing if, people are just able to start these things up and be able to make money so quickly. I mean, because, when I look at the fact that a lot of these trainers are teaching bad form, and I mean, if there's somebody out there that's actually teaching good form, then that's fine. If you're a CrossFit trainer and you actually teach good form on exercises and you actually follow proper guidelines as far as training methods, I have no problem with you. Seriously. But I'm yet to see somebody like that. if you are one of those people, please let me know. I'm all for it. I want to see CrossFit become something legitimate by people actually teaching the right thing. So, by all means, if you're one of those people, tell me. There's a comment section for a reason. Anyways, yeah, as far as them being able to start this stuff up, it just seems so cheap. Yeah, this stuff is going to cost a little bit of money as far as startup costs. It's not completely inexpensive. It's not going to be like $30 to start the gym. But in comparison to buying, Nautilus machines and, getting all the weight equipment that a normal gym would have, yeah, the price is definitely a lot better. And then you have guys come in that they may be certified, they may not be. But, if you look at the form that they've been using and the form that they've been teaching, that just means that they're certified in teaching bad form, so they shouldn't be certified in the first place. I'm really ranting right now. My goodness. But I have a problem with CrossFit right now. And I will until I start to see legitimate changes in their training methods. And if anybody is thinking about going and training CrossFit, please reconsider. I'm telling you, please reconsider. And you've had the reasons here. I've written the blog post about it. I'm doing the podcast right now about it. And I'm trying to warn you, like, hey, you can do this on your own. Go and find a training method. Go find a workout plan. Go get a gym membership. Find a trainer if you need them. And go and do it on your own. You're going to get good results. I promise you. I promise you. CrossFit, you don't need it. You don't need CrossFit. Don't feed into the lies that have been put on by their supposed pro games where people are using PEDs. And look, you got freaking She-Hulks out there. I don't know how people fall for this stuff, man. My goodness. I just wrote a blog post about fad diets the other day. And it's the same principle. CrossFit just came about. And then all of a sudden, people started talking about it, and it became the next big thing. But it doesn't always mean that it's the best thing. The old-fashioned way has proven time and time again that it is the best way to go. Train consistently, train correctly, train with the right amount of weight, eat correctly, and you will see results. That's just the way it is. So guys, don't feed into the lies about CrossFit and all the other garbage. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you will do perfectly fine on your own. If you want to look for any more advice about nutrition, exercise, anything, make sure to check out theliftingninja.com. My blog posts are there to help beginners, and eventually I will be getting into more advanced topics. But right now I really want to focus on the beginners because I know there's a lot of people out there struggling to even get into exercise and nutrition. So please, if you're in that boat right now, check out my blog post, check out the website, and make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And when you head over to the website, make sure to subscribe to the newsletter. There'll be some really cool stuff in there too. Well, I think that pretty much does it for me. It wasn't that rough. Good for a first episode, right? All right, guys. Well, I'll talk to you in the next one.